Welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's take a look at these numbers while we run the headlines here. El Salvador, G7, CFTC, and the SEC in the news today. And could we see the judge set the stage for an early settlement in the Ripple case? We'll take a look at that. How about Swift Ripple takeover? How about XRP being used by Swift? We got somebody that says so. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Give us a follow on TikTok too at Digital Perspectives, no spaces. Right now, we're at 43 cents for XRP, 41 cents on the bottom, 44 cents on the top. We'll keep an eye on it. If you're not aware, following 10 times growth in 2021, linked to fast approaching $125 million of investment on the platform with 50,000 members. In anticipation of these upcoming milestones, today's investment in Link2 will be rewarded by $1,000 worth of Link2 bucks as a bonus to you. If you're accredited and want to get some private equity in Link2, you're going to get $1,000 worth of Link2 bucks. Link underneath the video. Don't mess around. By the way, if you're not accredited, download the app, make sure you're a part of it. You get so much information on all the fintech blockchain companies in the space. Right here, we see there's more trouble here. The country's big bet on crypto in El Salvador has collapsed in recent weeks because the cryptocurrency washed out roughly a third of the value of the government's assets. Now, I personally myself do not see what is happening in this space as something that is completely separate to what's going on in El Salvador. I believe that this is certainly one of the many different layers of perception of reality that is taking place here. I believe the governments, the big, large central banks of the world, the financial players, not the pieces on the chessboard, but the people who actually move the pieces of the chessboard, the elite, the ones that operate in the shadows. That's right. I'm the guy at the party that pisses on everything because I'm the conspiracy theorist who ends up being right. And I believe that this is as well. I believe this is a motion by suppressing this market and bringing in the clarity and regulation that they all talk about and shove down our throat, that this is a real moment for El Salvador for making this decision. Remember the IMF saying it's a bad idea. I think they should stop. Well, here's the G7 urging crypto regulations in light of the Terra collapse. And you can bet that it's also in light of countries like El Salvador saying Bitcoin is legal tender. They're not going to have any of this business. So you just watch how it plays out. If I'm wrong, I'll make the video. Tether displays $82 billion worth of reserves to silence haters. But I tell you what, I think you still have a problem here because I think they're going to put some kind of barrier to entry in place that if Tether is not able to meet the regulatory height bar, they will be shut down. We'll see. Take a look right here. Strong is the most recent project to suffer what is called Ponzi-nomics here. And it is a shame, and I take no pride in it, just like, U.S. Terra has been a nightmare for a lot of us. I'm upside down in it. I did not have in before it crashed, but I bought in after and it fell even further. And now I'm upside down. If it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I know a lot of good people who have been in this Strong project and got busted because right here, XRP Crypto Wolf says, remember when he warned everyone about Strong being a Ponzi scheme last year, they attacked him. They still told the truth, but that's what has happened. And if you get into it here, it says right here, this is awful. Should have listened to the OGs when they said Strong was a Ponzi instead of newbies, especially after we saw BitConnect catastrophe. This guy even screwed over his own family and friends. How sad. This is a post here. What's most difficult? The conversations with family, friends, and those in my circles about why their nodes are now gone with no warning. Tipsy Tiger asked, what happened? Did Strong shut the nodes down? And what is said here is this, is that Strong decided that they were going to make every Strong node die after it generated 20 coins. They did this without talking to the community. Now it will take 120 days of maintenance gas fees to ROI, and then in another 120 days, Light Wallet dies. 300,000 nodes just died. Wow. I tell you, this is, I believe all of this is on the heels of knowing that regulators are coming for all of these kinds of projects that really are operating as they feel outside of a framework. CFTC head Rostin Benham also made the comment just a couple days ago that he's concerned about Bitcoin's energy use, and he has made it clear that he is the head of the commodity Bitcoin. He's made that extremely clear. SEC Chair Gary Gensler threatens more action on unregistered crypto exchanges. Very quickly here, just looking at this, it is really taking shape in the most worst way. Look, we do need regulation of the exchanges. The problem is that if Gary gets regulation over the exchanges, will he see 100% of what's on those exchanges as digital asset securities? And because he is really a passive aggressive chump, the truth is that he won't be honest enough up front to say, I guarantee you I will not do that to every crypto on the exchange. He will not give you that kind of security, right? Or confidence, I should say. And that is the problem with him. Right? It really is a problem, but let's keep moving. We got a lot to get into. Here's Gary Gensler right here, courtesy of DAI right here. And it's really, listen to what he says here. I just want to hear it and then give it to you. Here we go.
Right now, the investing public in all communities are not well protected. In terms of what this committee can do is help us get, again, we're not trying to grow really significantly, but resources to grow at least 6% and grow our enforcement arm in this space. Exchanges are trading against their customers. They literally are making markets versus their customers. They're holding the what's called the private key. If they lose them or there's hacks, guess what? The public will just have to get in line like they're in bankruptcy court.
Again, there are some good points made here. You don't want to be a part of exchanges where there's front running taking place, right? You also don't want to be in a situation too where you see that your keys are lost and there's no insurance from the exchanges and you're just out all of your holdings. This is a problem. But the problem again is that will Gary Gensler use this kind of regulation for exchanges to make the claim that everything on those platforms are in fact securities? That's the scary thing about this guy. What I really see behind all of this is a big push to get the banks in control of this new asset class, not crypto exchanges. I'm guessing the new barrier for entry, crypto exchanges will need to partner with banks for the proper oversight and licensure. That's what I'm seeing that's headed down the pipe here. That is what I'm seeing here. Banks have watched all their customers play in this crypto world, and they're sick of watching their customers go over there, and they don't get to wet their beak. Looking right here, we see CoinShares has increased its holdings from about 2.6 million, it looks here, to 5.7 million. Shout out to Wrath of Common for that. And that's exactly what I'm doing too. Now, my bags don't look like CoinShares, but that's what I'm doing. That's my digital perspectives. It's not financial advice. The SEC is attempting again to conceal documents related to the Director Hinman's speech, as we all know. Stay with me on this, by filing a new reply about attorney-client privilege, and they've fought that from many different angles. We see that they've even gone as far here to claim that it's ambiguous and vague to talk about the terms Bitcoin and Ether even. That's how far they're willing to go to try to fight this argument. What this comes down to very quickly is this, and shout out to ProCoin News for all the great coverage on all of this. Give them a follow here. The results of this court's ruling would affect what the timeline might be, as it could influence the case to move to an early settlement. And that really is true. Like, if the judge comes out and rules in favor of Ripple, let's say, I believe that will absolutely put an enormous amount of pressure on the SEC to either settle or, unfortunately, drop the case. I don't want to see that either. I believe XRP is a virtual currency, but you know what? We don't know how this shakes out. But I do believe that if the judge rules on this in favor of Ripple to release those documents, it will be very tough going forward for the SEC. And I don't think you got to be a lawyer to know that one. Now, with that being said, I also want to make you aware of this because there is the library case, which we have been told by a couple legal analysts as well, that this could be used to inform the judges in the Ripple SEC case if they so choose. And that case should be over slightly before this case is over, so that could happen. And thanks you to Jim Filan here, who's telling us all that the judge in the SEC versus library case has granted the SEC's motion to exceed the page limit and denied library's motion to strike. The order below is not clear, yet this was impact the trial. The judge is probably not happy with the antics of this. This is pretty weak sauce, is what Jeremy Hogan says. I thought this judge was Old Testament style. So pretty much he's allowing this to happen, and he didn't think that it would. But again, this case with library can inform the judges if they so choose. So we have to pay attention closely to what happens there. But here's what we want to pay real close attention to, because while this market is under huge duress and suppression, we know what it's from, right? It is from what the SEC is doing and all the large institutions shorting the market, I believe, in conjunction. I'm not accusing anyone of colluding, right? But I'm just saying, I think everyone understands the way the wind blows at that level, and they act accordingly. But here is Graham Bright from Euro Exim Bank talking with Lael Halpern here, who is shocked really at the end of this video for what he says. Now, we had the pleasure of interviewing Graham, and he was a remarkable person to speak with at Ripple Swell 2019, where we filmed him for Cryptonaires. If you haven't seen that, you can see it at cryptoperformance.io. Cryptonaires has gotten rave reviews amongst the people who have checked it out. Make sure you watch it. It is still very applicable documentary to see for what is happening today. Is actually right on point for what's going on. So right here, you're going to hear it. Take a listen. This is pretty remarkable. Ripple won't take over SWIFT, but they will use XRP for real-time payments.
Here's a discussion surrounding crypto replacing SWIFT. So we did speak earlier where you mentioned that it's not necessarily about replacing SWIFT, it's about complementing it. So let's get some more information on this.
Okay. I used to work for SWIFT. I was SWIFT for 20 years, so SWIFT is flowing through my veins. SWIFT is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., Nostra reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where SWIFT would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, but payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement to the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace SWIFT. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that SWIFT are changing their network capability so that real-time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the SWIFT network as a currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
Now, so, I just slightly moving on for a second. Because
she seems to be quite taken by that, knowing she loves Bitcoin. But I tell you what, this is what it comes down to. I ask this question all the time, and I'm going to ask it again today. If every crypto exchange stopped trading for all retail investors today, what would the projects and tokens that you're invested in do? Would they go to zero? Because I know that XRP would not. XRP, 25% of their volume across the XRP ledger is in fact on-demand liquidity. That is why I'm here. And I tell you, with the uncertainty we see in this market, it is a great time to open your portfolio and to ask yourself, to give yourself the right answers about the things that are in your portfolio. I don't know what they are, but you know what mine are. It's XRP and XLM and a little bit of XDC for me. Not financial advice, but that's where I am heavily down into it. These two, I believe, will be value protocols that will be adopted and highly regulated for the world to use. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I'll catch all of you on the next one.